I got the chance to go see the new indie horror movie Obsession last night, and it was awesome. My name is Toby Ramone. I like to talk about movies and comic books on this channel, and horror is one of my favorite genres. I feel like the last few years have been pretty great to be a horror fan, especially in the indie scene where we'll get a lot of indie horror movies that have a lot of buzz get picked up by someone like A24 or Neon, or in this case, Blumhouse. And so I was really looking forward to this movie, and I just gotta say, like, right off the bat, it lives up to the hype. I think a lot of people have been loving this movie. It's got something like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. The early festival buzz was really good. And man, I love this trend of YouTubers making horror movies because it has brought us so much good stuff. Not all of them have been great, of course, but like the Raka Raka guys have been awesome with Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. Talk to Me is my favorite YouTube horror movie that I've seen. I liked Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks more than others did. Not necessarily a favorite or a standout. I like Markiplier's Iron Lung. I'm sure there's another great one that I'm just not thinking of right now, but I was really excited for this movie to see Curry Barker's first film, and it was awesome. I think one of the strengths of this movie is that it is so completely creepy with a premise that's somewhat simple, like, just the premise of you get to make a wish. It's the monkey's paw type thing where you make your wish, but it's maybe not as good as you thought it would be, but it's just executed to perfection in this. Like, every way that it could go wrong, it does go wrong in the most interesting, weird, or creepy ways. The performances from both the two lead actors are awesome. And I just have so much good to say about this movie and not really much bad at all. I think at this point of the year, it's probably my favorite horror movie. Okay, that's kind of a tall order because I loved this, I loved Send Help, and I loved Hokum. I think it's been a pretty good year for horror so far. I loved all of those, but especially just coming off of the recency bias high of seeing the movie yesterday, it is a strong contention for my favorite horror movie of the year. This movie was... I didn't watch the trailers for it. I just saw one teaser that was like a minute long, and I was sold. I had heard the early buzz and just figured that's enough. I don't need to know more about it. So I didn't know a whole lot of what to expect or how this movie would go, and it blew me away. Like, I was so locked in the entire time. Like, beginning to end, I was just loving it. I should have looked up her name, but the main girl who plays Nikki in the movie, she's so creepy when the character is meant to be creepy. It got under my skin so bad. There's an instance in this movie and involving her performance, obviously, of doing something weird that like caught me so off guard and gave me one of those jump scares where I felt like chills go through my whole body. So it's so impressive in that way. And then on top of it, it is a lot funnier than I expected, which if you've ever seen Curry Barker's YouTube videos, you should know he's a funny dude. I guess I just wasn't sure whether that was going to be a part of this movie or not because I went in pretty blind. And it never takes away from how creepy it is. Sometimes it's really creepy and funny simultaneously, especially when Nikki's like just doing weird crap. But man, when it's funny, it's really funny. There's a few scenes in particular with just some characters that only show up once. Like there's a phone call and there's someone on the other end of the phone that's really funny. And there's like a clerk at this store towards the end of the movie that's really funny. I won't get into specific details, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of mixing comedy and horror. Like Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the Evil Dead movies, and they've done that a lot. Of course, you can get it wrong, but I think here they got it just right because I think where it's kind of unique is that a lot of times there's jokes and there's scary in horror comedy, and it kind of goes back and forth, but this one was really good at doing it at the same time. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know how much more I even have to say because I don't know. I don't want to get into spoilers. I just think everyone should go out and see it for themselves because there's a lot of fun to be had with it. I think there's some good surprises in the movie. One last thing I will say is I won't say what happens, but I really dug the ending. I thought they ended it so well. It was going down a road leading to the end where I thought I knew what they were going to do and I was not super happy about it, and then something happens, it flips, and it got me back. I was so on board. So yeah, if you are a fan of horror movies especially, this is an absolute must-see. It's so cool that someone can make a movie like this with, I think, a budget of just $1 million, and that Blumhouse, is able to pick it up and give it this wide theatrical release. I'm so grateful that I got to see it in my local theater because we don't get a lot of indie movies. So yeah, it's worth the hype. It's so interesting. Go in as blind as you can. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it to any horror fans out there, or anyone who's maybe just feeling a little adventurous and wants something unexpected at the movies this weekend. I'm Toby Ramone, and like and subscribe if you're not a piece of shit.